Like those players are ready for that.
Emotional evening. They didn't actually stick to the manager's plan. It's a young group, and in the end, everything went wrong for them.
We as fans underestimate these teams.
Heze trying his luck. Oh, it's taken a deflection, and it's gone in, and Heze makes it 4-2. It's a monumental defeat for Aston Villa.
They did well, the opponent, and we didn't do like we planned before. Now they are favourite.
For Villa fans, winning Europa League Conference will mean more than finishing in the Champions League positions.
They've got a manager that has managed in Europe probably more successfully in recent times. I wouldn't put it past him to go to Olympiacos and get a result.
Aston Villa's European conquest may well be in its final throes. The men from the West Midlands head to Piraeus tonight on the edge of the Greek capital, wounded but not yet defeated. They'll need to summon something Herculean to seize a spot in the Europa Conference League final. It would be their first major European final in 42 years, but Olympiacos have a 2-goal lead, and they could be heading back to Greece for their first ever European final against Fiorentina in just under 3 weeks' time. Kickoff comes at 8 p.m. with everything to play. Then the plan is to go out and attack. But that certainly can be a byproduct of his tactics, his teams.
No surprises that we see Pau Torres, Diego Carlos back in there tonight. Ezri Konsa struggled last week, so we'll see how he fares as a right back as well. I think everything has to drop into place, Hugh. I don't think you can identify any one thing. Certainly, it goes without saying that defensively they have to be incredibly assured.
But what's the approach, do you think, Andy? Do you think the first 20-25 minutes they think, let's go out there, let's make sure we get the first goal and be on the front foot? Or do they say, do you know what, if we get to half-time, still 0-0, don't worry, a 2-0 victory is enough to go to extra time, so let's not panic?
Exactly. No, very much the latter. I mean, it's all well and good going crazy early on. If the encouragement is there, if the team start brightly, and if they're sitting back and they look a little nervy and a little anxious and look like a team that are sitting on the 2-goal cushion, this atmosphere tonight in this stadium, Hugh, is going to be loud and very proud. I'm telling you. So make sure early on in the game that mistakes are going to happen. They're going to make mistakes again tonight. That happens in football, but it's how you react, how you deal with those mistakes, and how you make sure that they don't really hurt you and cost you. So I expect Olympiacos to be fiery in this opening 10 or 15 minutes. Villa have got to make sure they nullify that threat, and then if they can carry and pose a problem or two of their own, that just might drag the home team back a little bit and make them feel like they're not going to be quite so ambitious. That, I think, for Villa is a really good start to the game.
How confident do you think they'll be going into this, though? I mentioned the fact that they've only won one of the last 3 defeats during that time, beaten by Brighton in the Premier League at the weekend. You know, if you are to come into a game needing to win by at least 2 goals, you want to be feeling really good about yourselves.
Yes, you do.
Are Villa in that spot right now?
No, they're not at their best. I saw them recently at home against Chelsea, where they raced into a 2-goal lead and never really took control of that game. Chelsea, to their credit, certainly deserved their draw, could have ended up winning it. They've not been at their absolute supreme best, Villa, I think, for a while now. They've been running a little on empty in terms of numbers. Jim mentioned about the age and the options on the bench for Villa tonight. 1 or 2 of those young boys might have to come of age in a game like this, should we end up in extra time and penalties. Who knows where it's going to go. But no, they haven't been at their very best for a bit now. But that's part and parcel of operating at this sort of level at this time of the season, Hugh. You're not at your best all year round, all the way through it. You have to fight your way, and you have to scrap, and you have to dig in when it's really getting tough and find a way. Look at Real Madrid last night. They found something from somewhere to get over the line. Villa have got to manage this perfectly, be nice and compact and solid early on. They've got to strike first, of course, and then once they do that, then all of a sudden we'll see where the game takes them. Some last 20 minutes could be interesting.
Do you think it's a must to keep a clean sheet this evening? Do you think Villa are capable of going there and scoring 3 if they need to?
I think they could. I think they've the players out there that can score goals. So I genuinely do. But look, you would like to think. I think anybody seeing Olympiacos scoring first in this sort of atmosphere with a 2-goal lead, that making it 3. I think then we're talking about miracles for Villa. I really do. I think that's going to be incredibly difficult to turn round. I think they have to strike first. Then we'll see where the game goes, see where it takes them, see the reaction from Olympiacos, and go from there.
Looking at the Villa lineup tonight in those attacking areas, if they are going to get the goals that they need, I mean, a lot of focus obviously will be on Ollie Watkins. Had a superb season, 28 goals for club and country. But he didn't score at the weekend. He hasn't been at his best. 1 goal in the last 5 games in front of goal, so it's not a rich vein of form. He has to step up to the plate tonight. We may see him truly emerge as an even bigger figure for this team and this club than he has already been in a game like tonight, where he could be the talisman. Yeah. But how does he have an effect?
Well, look, we could well see Olympiacos with a 2-goal lead come bouncing out the blocks here and attacking Aston Villa and looking like they're the team that are making all the running. Then all of a sudden you break away. Bailey flies down the right side and he crosses something, half a chance for Ollie. Do you take those half chances that come your way? Yes, you've got to on a night like tonight when you're 2 down. So it doesn't. We don't have to see Villa being the team making all the running, asking all the questions, etc., etc. We just got to see a Villa team that defends as a unit. The goalkeeper's going to have to play well back in the side tonight. Those centre halves are going to have to be assured. The fullbacks got to make sure defensively they're right. They might get a little counter-attack. They might just turn the ball over. Douglas Luiz releases Ollie Watkins. He races through and Villa score against the runner play. That can happen. And that's how these ties can turn on their head very, very quickly. So, again, I would just want to see Villa, first quarter of an hour, looking like a team, playing with composure, playing with control, and looking like they're handling any of these threats that Olympiacos throw at them.
How much does experience count, do you think? Olympiacos have only missed out on the group stages of European competition once in the last 28 seasons. It's 11 years since Aston Villa got into Europe before this year. Do you think it counts for much?
I think it always helps, but I think in a situation where we find Villa tonight, I don't think it's going to be a lack of experience. These boys that have played out here have played enough top flight football at various clubs down the years, the likes of Leon Bailey and others. They've operated at a level. Pau Torres has won European trophies, so I don't think that's going to be the issue. What's got to happen is those big moments, if they come Villa's way, Hugh, and they take one, they are right back in this tie.
The decibel levels have gone up just a little bit in Greece there as the players step out onto the pitch. You can hear the theme for the Europa Conference League there. Remember, there are other matches tonight in Europe too. We'll keep you right up to date with those, as Bayer Leverkusen and Marseille and Roma and Atalanta tried to reach the Europa League final. It is Aston Villa and Olympiacos here. The villains out to invade Greece. Unai Emery's side find themselves in a very tricky spot, trying to overturn a 2-goal deficit at Olympiacos to reach their first European final since they conquered the continent back in 1982. Can the current crop write their name into Villa folklore, all against the odds? It's the Europa Conference League semi-final second leg, live on TalkSport in the company of the Aston Villa League Cup winning captain Andy Townsend and our very own Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Hugh, and good evening to you for the night that Aston Villa hope isn't the biggest of their season. Last week's first leg defeat has taken some coming to terms with, performance that bore no relation to the vast majority under Unai Emery, and tonight their biggest European night for 42 years needs one of the best comebacks in the club's history. But of course, there is still hope as they look to overturn the 2-goal deficit. It's less than 4 weeks since Villa won by 2 at Arsenal, and that performance on the back of 2 substandard league displays was one of their best for years. Emery himself has been in this position before, masterminding a comeback from a 2-goal first leg home defeat in the Sevilla days on the way to claiming the Europa League trophy. But this is a night amidst the raucous, deafening atmosphere engendered by the passionate home support who are expecting a first ever European final. A night where everything is going to have to go Villa's way. And it is that fervent expectation that might just give Villa hope. The prize of that maiden final, played just 10 miles from this stadium in Piraeus, is so large, and with so many thinking this is a foregone conclusion. How much would it take for doubt to set in? How would supporters and the team react if Villa were to score first? Well, these are the teams. Salakis in goal for Olympiacos. The back four of Rodinei, Retsos, David Carmo and Kini, Heze and Iborra, Fortounis, Chiquinho, Pedence, and last week's hat-trick hero El Kaabi. Villa have Martinez in goal, Consa, Diego, Carlos, Pau Torres and Digne, Cash, McGinn, Douglas Luiz and Diaby, with Bailey off Watkins up front. Not a night for the faint-hearted, Andy Townsend.
Not a night for the faint-hearted at all, Jim. Look, they're going to be playing big on emotion tonight, Olympiacos. They've got a very healthy lead. They're in front of such a fervent, packed home crowd here, an expectant crowd, that all the signs suggest they're on their way to a final. Villa have got to buck that trend. They've got to show that they can handle whatever they get thrown at them this evening and come back with a punch of their own.
A big turnaround needed on the biggest of nights, or will Villa's road to Athens end 10 miles short? Olympiacos have already had one heavy home defeat in Europe this season. Can Emery's men inflict another to pen an extraordinary, triumphant sequel to Act 1 of their Greek tragedy? Olympiacos in red and white striped shirts, Aston Villa in their change kit of kind of two-tone blue, and the referee Felix Farr of Germany, who's taken charge of wins for Arsenal and Brighton in Europe this season, waits for the signal to get us underway. Villa kicking from left to right in the first half. The ball laid down for Ezri Konsa. Konsa playing right back in the early stages, but if you go with a back three, they've only done it twice this season, most recently in a thumping home defeat to Tottenham, where they really didn't play well at all. But they have the option potentially of playing Konsa on the right of three centre-halves to get Cash and Digne forward as wing-backs. Olympiacos have got possession, just lost out. Bailey's in there strongly, and Iborra with a couple of tumbles and a roll. Just make sure the referee realises that contact was made. Bailey actually has hurt himself in the process as well. His left knee already very heavily strapped even before the game started, and that might just have further exacerbated an injury problem there. Inside the first minute still, 0-0 and 4-2 to Olympiacos.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, Jim, as you mentioned there, about whether or not Luca Digne and Mati Cash operate as wing-backs. They might do that a little bit in possession, out of possession. It might go the other way a little bit. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Very early days in the tie.
The ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the left-hand side for Olympiacos. It's going to be Kinney, and he could be one of the keys tonight. 34-year-old, he is a right-back playing on the left. Throw not forward, and Chiquinho trying his luck, dragging one wide of the near post, and out of play for a goal kick. Yeah,
chance there for Chiquinho. Just a little loose header from Diego Carlos, actually. Just mistimed the leap and ended up inadvertently flicking it on in towards the corner of his own 6-yard box, where Chiquinho takes the strike. In the end, is well blocked.
Villa more than happy just to play their way out from the back with Emi Martinez. The last major European semi-final. Ex-Anderlecht back in 1982. Tony Morley scored the winner in the first leg. The second leg, a brilliantly drab goalless draw in Brussels. It was a magnificent performance that day from Villa to get themselves through to the final. 42 years on, they find themselves in the first major European semi-final since.
Yeah, playing it around at the back, Villa a lot. You can hear the boos from the home fans as they want their team to get in and around Villa. Villa cool. Mati Cash, who's playing that little bit further in front of him, and Villa now force a corner. Leon Bailey with it, swinging it in off the right.
4th minute corner, and an early goal for Aston Villa here completely changes the complexion of the tie. Assistant referee has just walked into the corner quadrant to prevent Bailey from taking the corner quickly, because the ref wants a word with McGinn and the Olympiacos goalkeeper Salakis. He's happy with everything now. Bailey just adjusts the ball, actually moves it closer to the dead ball line along the quadrant, now runs up, knocks it short to the right hand side of the penalty area for Diaby, back for Bailey, to Diaby again, trying to drive the ball in. It hit the nearest Olympiacos player and ricochets down towards Bailey. Bailey back outside the penalty area here for Douglas Luiz. And will certainly feel that he's got a lot to prove tonight. 1-2 between him and Bailey. Villa with good possession early in this game, and the last 30-40 seconds or so have been all around the edge of the Olympiacos penalty area. Now played out to the left-hand side of the box. Watkins going up for a header, and David Carman, the centre-half, in behind him, was able to effect the block and put it out of play for a corner.
I thought Ollie Watkins was going to get there first. Really good football again from Villa down the right side. McGinn switching it out to the left. Clever little ball clipped in towards the near post. Ollie Watkins looks like he's getting there first. Flicks his head at it, doesn't make contact, and David Carmo behind. Really positive start from Villa with the ball. They've been really composed.
Douglas Luiz will take this corner from the Villa left. He has corners in his Villa career. He doesn't score that.